Have you ever felt it? The quiet fading of faith. It doesn't happen with a bang. No grand tragedy, no sudden crisis. It's more like a candle burning out in a room you've already left. One day, you just wake up and realize the fire you once felt, that burning passion for your goals, is gone. The dreams that once defined you now feel like a story about someone else. Even the things you used to love have lost their color, and you're left asking, what happened to me? We're taught to believe that meaning has to be loud, that faith must feel like an overwhelming passion. But that's not the whole truth. Most of life unfolds in the quiet spaces, in the silent moments between the noise. It happens in the hours when you no longer feel that intense belief, but you still show up anyway. You see, you aren't defined by your thoughts. Thoughts are fleeting. They change, they break, they contradict themselves. You are defined by what remains when that belief disappears, by the small, consistent actions you take, even when your heart isn't sure anymore. Society loves to romanticize conviction, doesn't it? It celebrates the people who never seem to doubt, the ones who walk a path of absolute certainty. But I believe real strength is found elsewhere. It's in the quiet persistence of those who keep going despite the uncertainty. It's in the person who gets out of bed when the weight of existence feels almost unbearable. It's easy to love life when everything makes sense, when all the pieces of the puzzle fit perfectly. But life rarely offers that kind of clarity. Most of the time, we're just moving through a fog, holding on to fragments of meaning, guided by an instinct we can't quite name. And yet, we keep going. That simple act of continuation, that is what truly defines us. It's not about proving you still have faith. It's about revealing your resilience. It's the courage to act even when the inspiration has run dry. Think about it. Sometimes the truest version of yourself emerges, not when you're confident and certain, but when you're completely lost. It's when you've run out of reasons, but you still take one more step. It's in that quiet moment when you whisper to yourself, I don't know why I'm even doing this. And then you do it anyway. That isn't failure. That is a different kind of faith in disguise. Because faith isn't always about a powerful, conscious belief. Sometimes, faith is simply it's the small, quiet act of defiance against giving up. You are not your doubts. You are not your fears. You are what you choose to continue doing despite them. Every time you show up for something you once loved, even when it feels hollow, you are honoring the part of yourself that still remembers why you started. You're tending to a quiet belief that doesn't need constant proof to survive. Your mind will always chase grand meanings and big answers, but your heart understands something deeper. Persistence. Your heart knows that the simple act of continuing is its own form of prayer. It knows there is a profound beauty in just showing up, even when you don't know what you're showing up for. Maybe this is what identity really is. It's not the grand story you tell yourself about who you are. It's not the beliefs you cling to. It's the steady rhythm you maintain when everything else feels like it's falling apart. It is the way you still find it in you to care for others when no one seems to notice. The way you still create something, write something, build something when there's no audience. The way you still try, even when there's no one there to cheer you on. That is you. That is the quiet, persistent force underneath all the noise of your thoughts. Your mind can be a trickster. It can convince you that you've lost everything, that you're a hollowed-out version of your former self. But the truth is, who you are at your core doesn't just vanish when belief fades. It's still there, buried in your habits, in your daily motions, in the daily repeated acts of care and effort. So if you ever feel lost, if you ever look in the mirror and think you've become nothing, please remember this. You are still here, and simply being here, continuing to exist and to try, is an act full of meaning all by itself. One day, I promise you, the light will start to return. And when it does, you'll look back and see that you never stopped being yourself. You are simply being tested by a period of silence, learning to navigate by a different kind of light. Belief will come and go. Certainty will fade and then reappear. But what remains, what truly endures through it all, is you. It's that quiet strength that keeps you moving forward, even when you don't have a clear reason why. That, right there, is what it means to truly live. Not to always believe, not to always feel certain, but to simply continue. To continue anyway. Have you ever noticed that strange kind of silence? The one that lives just beneath all the noise of our modern lives. We scroll, we tap, we refresh, and in every single movement, there's this quiet desperation, a deep-seated need to not be left alone with ourselves. It's the great irony of our time, isn't it? We've never been so connected to everyone, and yet, somehow, we've never felt so profoundly unseen. Every notification is a tiny spark, a brief illusion that someone, somewhere, is thinking of us. And for just a second, that feels like enough. For a fleeting moment, the emptiness inside retreats, but it always comes back, doesn't it? And when it does, it's heavier, it's louder, and it starts asking questions we'd rather not answer. So, why are we so afraid of stillness? Why do we feel this compulsive need to fill every quiet moment with sound, every pause with a distraction, every single breath with something new to consume? Maybe it's because when the world finally stops talking, the silence shows us the truth. We don't really know who we are without it. We've constructed this vast digital world that rewards visibility over depth, quick reactions over thoughtful reflection, and speed over genuine understanding. We tell ourselves we're searching for connection, but if we're honest, most of the time we're just searching for an escape from boredom, an escape from uncertainty, and most of all, an escape from ourselves. Our phone becomes this mirror that we can completely control. We only show the angles we like, share the thoughts that are safe, and express the feelings that are guaranteed to perform well. And slowly, almost without noticing, we begin to live more for the reflection than for the reality. We curate our lives into these perfect stories that never happened exactly that way. In doing so, we trade our authenticity for a little bit of digital approval. But connection without presence is just noise. 1,000 words typed, 100 hearts clicked, and still that same old ache of disconnection just lingers beneath it all. Because what we really want, what we've always wanted, is to be seen, not just scrolled past. To be understood, not just reacted to. The truth is, technology didn't create our emptiness. It only made it more visible. It just amplified the space inside us that we never learned how to fill with silence, with solitude, with our own thoughts. We crave constant input because we've been conditioned to think that quiet feels like absence, but it's not. Quiet is where meaning begins. Quiet is where we finally remember how to listen not to the world, but to ourselves. There's a strange, beautiful freedom in being unreachable, even for just a moment. In letting the phone rest on the table, in watching the sky without feeling the need to take a photo, in doing something not for display, but for the secret, simple joy of just being. The more we resist the urge to share every single thought, the more space we create for thoughts that actually matter. We were not made to live under this constant, glaring spotlight of exposure. The mind needs privacy to grow. It needs boredom to spark creativity. It needs silence to remember what it truly loves. But we have trained ourselves to fear that emptiness, to believe that if nothing is happening, we must be missing something important. When in truth, it's in those quiet moments, when nothing seems to be happening, that life quietly and gently returns to us. So maybe it's not more connection we need, but more attention. Not more content, but more consciousness. Not another screen, but simply another breath. Because behind all this relentless noise, there's a truth waiting for us. It is the understanding that the void we keep running from isn't some monster hiding in the dark. It is just a part of us that hasn't been heard in a very long time. It doesn't need to be filled with more stuff. It needs to be met. It needs to be understood. Maybe one day, we'll stop mistaking stimulation for connection. Maybe we'll remember that the most profound conversations we can ever have happen in silence, in the space between our thoughts and the stillness that holds them. Until then, the next time you reach for your phone, out of pure habit, just pause. For 1 second, ask yourself what you're really looking for. Maybe it's not another post, another voice, or another distraction. Maybe, just maybe, it's you waiting to be found again in the quiet. Have you ever noticed that strange kind of peace that comes from certainty? That feeling of being absolutely sure of who you are, what you believe, and where you're going. It feels safe, solid, almost invincible. But let's be honest, that peace is incredibly fragile. It often depends on one simple rule. Don't ask too many questions. We avoid doubt because it's uncomfortable. It shakes the very foundations we've built our lives upon. It forces us to confront an unsettling possibility that much of what we call truth might just be repetition, imitation, or fear disguised as confidence. When you stop questioning yourself, you start living inside a bubble. It's a bubble made of your own ideas, reinforced by the world you've curated. And slowly, you begin to mistake comfort for clarity and routine for wisdom. You become trapped, not by walls, but by your own unwavering certainty. The truth is, most people don't actually want truth, they want reassurance. They want to hear that they're on the right path, that their choices make sense, that who they are is enough. And that's a deeply human need. We all crave belonging, but when the need to belong becomes more important than the need to be honest with ourselves, our minds begin to stagnate. So, let me propose something that might sound counterintuitive. Doubting yourself is not a weakness. It is a profound act of courage. It's looking at your reflection in the mirror and having the strength to ask, what if I'm wrong? What if the story I've been telling myself isn't the whole story? Yes, it can be painful. It forces you to look at your blind spots, your prejudices, your long-held assumptions. But it is also incredibly liberating, because that's where the real door to growth swings open. When you allow yourself to doubt, you create space. You create space to listen to others, space to unlearn outdated beliefs, and space to evolve into a more authentic version of yourself. Certainty is a closed fist. It holds on tight, but can receive nothing new. Doubt, on the other hand, is an open hand. It might feel vulnerable, but it's ready to receive. It cracks the mind open, just enough for a little bit of light to get in. Every great philosopher, every innovator, every artist who has ever changed the world started not from a place of knowing, but from a place of profound questioning. There's a beautiful, raw honesty in admitting you don't know, in being able to say, I thought I understood, but now I'm not so sure. That's not failure. That's the very beginning of wisdom. Because it's only when you stop pretending to have all the answers that you can finally start to truly see the world as it is, not just as you wish it were. Think about it. Confidence without a healthy dose of doubt is just arrogance, and a life lived without questioning becomes a slow, numb sleepwalk through a landscape of borrowed beliefs. Society, your family, your friends, they all hand you scripts. They tell you who you should be, what success should look like, what happiness is supposed to feel like. And it's so tempting to just accept them, because it's so much easier than carving out your own path. But that's how you end up living someone else's truth, wearing a mask that doesn't quite fit. To doubt yourself is to consciously step outside of that borrowed narrative. It's to risk being misunderstood. It's to risk not belonging for a little while. But in exchange, you gain something absolutely priceless. Your own authenticity. When you can stand firm in your own uncertainty, you stop performing for an audience. You stop trying to prove your worth. Instead, you begin to live from a deeper, more genuine place of understanding, not of posturing. Doubt acts like a fire that burns away illusions, and what remains after the fire might look smaller, simpler, and less impressive to the outside world, but it will be real. And reality, even when it's uncomfortable or painful, is the only solid ground you can ever truly build a life on. So, if you're feeling lost or confused right now, I want you to consider this. Maybe you're not failing. Maybe you're finally growing. Doubt isn't the end of knowing. It's the renewal of it. It's your mind taking a deep, cleansing breath after being trapped for too long in the stale air of certainty.